This is Virginia's Creative Stamping Corner. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and have been a demonstrator now for, well, in August it'll be exactly 20 years. Anyway, our annual catalog is was launched in May of 2023. It goes through April of 2024. We have one annual catalog and two mini catalogs, and we have a mini catalog coming up it will launch, I believe, in September. And we also have a lot of other things that we have online exclusives, which I will talk about in just a couple of minutes, that are offered only online. They are not in any of the catalogs, and customers can get them only through our online stores. Okay, so now, in addition to this catalog, we have a couple of promotions going on. One of those promotions ends on Friday, and that's the Designer Series paper sale. You can get these, there are 13 Designer Series papers here, and you can get these at 15% discount. So if you like our Designer Series paper, and I think probably they are the best in the business, and they are double-sided designs so that you get, twice the bang for your buck, so to speak. And so if you're interested in that, that's something that you can go to my online store at stampinup.com and go right to this address, and you'll be able to find that information about this Designer Series paper sale. But you'll have to hurry because it's not going to be available after June 30th. Okay. Then also there is a starter kit promotion that is running about the same time, the 1st of June through the 30th of June. In this starter kit, you get, rather than just getting $125 worth of products, you get $155 worth of products for only $99. And you get to choose those products. And when you get a starter kit, you sign on as a demonstrator and become part of my team. I would love to have you do that. So I would welcome you aboard and train you and give you all the information that you need to know. You don't have to be a demonstrator that's online. You can be what is called a happy shopper, someone who gets the discounts. And by the way, being a demonstrator allows you at least a 20% discount on the products, and you have access to products a month or so earlier than customers do, and you could, you order those through the company. There is a $300 quarterly minimum, so just so that you know. All right, now online exclusives, I mentioned that earlier. There are some promotions coming up, and it starts in July. It's available the 6th of July. And these are just a few of the products that are available. There is the One Horse Open Sleigh, the Horse and Sleigh stamp set, the Horse and Sleigh dies. This sweet collection includes the Designer Series paper, which you see here, and also these embellishments here. Okay. Adhesive backed snowflake assortment, and this Designer Series paper is 6x6. In addition, there are other stamp sets as well, but there's this one Timeless Charm bundle. Okay, that is available. And then there is another one, I believe, there's several on there. So that's available to customers starting July 6th. And if you wanted to use this QR code, you could get all of that information, but the QR code is not activated until July 6th. All right. So there are many other things. Okay, so that's that information. That should get you going there. Let me talk to you a little bit about the products that we're using tonight. We are using, and this is in our annual catalog, we are using the Bright and Beautiful Suite collection. And you see all of our catalogs have many examples of cards that you can use, that you can make, copy, or do something similar to. There are Designer Series paper and specialty designer series paper, stamp set, and a die set, all involved in this. Excuse me. And that's on pages 14 and 15 of our annual catalog. All right, so we'll get a chance to look at that in just a second, really, really close. I want to talk to you about the designer series paper first. And if you can avoid, let me see if I can mark this off somehow so you're not looking at that. This is the color, or these are the colors in the designer series paper. I will show you the colors as they are in our cardstock. All right, hopefully you can see that as soon as my camera stops being blurry. All right, this is Pebbled Path. What is Pebbled Path? No, there is Pretty Peacock, Lost Lagoon, Pretty Peacock, Lost Lagoon, Misty Moonlight. This is Blueberry Bushel, Bubble Bath, Fresh Freesia, Lemon Lime Twist, Lemon Lolly. This is Bubble Bath, and I think I've got all of them in there. All right, so those are the designer series paper. I'm not sure why I thought that was Pebbled Bath. That looked kind of grayish to me, but that's Misty Moonlight, that one right there. So that's the designer series paper. That's the cardstock. Here is the designer series paper, which is 6 by 6. All right, and you can see there's some bold prints on there. And then it goes to gradually lighter. Some of these have kind of like an ombre effect to them. And that's one side. There are 12 sheets, 4 of each sheet. That gives you 48 sheets. And then, of course, here is the other side of the designer series paper. A lot of these are, again, the kind of ombre type effect, kind of painted on look that you see there. That would make a nice beach scene. You could use that for beach water, in a beach scene. Here's another. That could be like a scene from, I don't know, a landscape scene of some sort. Okay, so there you go. So that's the designer series paper, and it is called Bright and Beautiful. The designer series paper is bright and beautiful. The set of dies and the stamp set are called Beautiful Balloons. This is also part of the suite, and let me show these to you one at a time. And I'm hoping doesn't cause too much of a glare, and that you can see. This is gold streamers on one side and silver streamers on the other. I can see a really pretty card coming out of this for New Year's. Okay, there is another one. Again, this one is kind of like a confetti type of a card, type of a design with circles and stars. Okay, circles, I guess I should say, just circles. And then that's also in silver on the other side. And finally, this is the confetti one, sorry. Yeah, and it's kind of, in the center, it's clear, this is acetate. Okay, so you've got your confetti on either end, and then you've got the gold or the silver. All right, and that is called the Gold Celebration. Gold Celebrations 12 by 12 specialty paper. Okay, and here is our beautiful balloon set. It is a photopolymer set, which means I'll need to use my paper piercing mat so that I get a good clear impression on that. And here is what part of that looks like, the actual size of the stamps. You can see I have used several of these already. There is, on the card that we're making tonight, I used some of the dies, and here are the dies, and I can kind of show you a little bit some of these. This is a confetti type piece that's cut out by this die. these balloons cut out regular, this cuts out this, regular size balloons. This cuts out a tag. I think the only other unusual piece is this piece here, which is cut by this. And what you do, you can make it, you can leave it like that because you can see that I used like an inch of paper. You can cut one end of it down to the edge where the lines start or stop, and you can make a fringe with it. So it cuts it all the way through there like that. So those are some of the ways that that is used. The one of the this piece right here, this die cuts out your balloons in a cluster or a group like that. Okay. And let's see, I'm trying to think of anything else that's unusual about that die set. I don't think so. I think that's pretty good. Okay. All right, that's got it. And of course, I did save all those tiny little pieces. You see, I'm such a hoarder that came out of that green piece. Okay. All right. And you can see by the look of the stamp set that some of the stamps, some of the balloons have a very distinct design or pattern on them. Some of them are solid. All right, so that's the beautiful balloons die set. In addition, I did choose to use the dots and spots die set. This die set is one of those standalone die sets. And let me pull that for you. I think it's on page, yes, on page 163 here at the bottom of the page. All right, so that's important to note that that is, it makes a really nice texture. It really made this card stand out quite a bit. And there's one other product that I decided, I thought I was going to use and I didn't use it, but I'm going to tell you, you can use it very easily. It's our new masking paper, Stampin' Up! Masking paper. This is like 5 by 7. There are 12 sheets in here. It's on page 151. We do need sometimes to cover up or cover over a design so we can put something else next to it and not mix the inks. And so using a masking paper helps us do that and makes it much easier so that we have it, and it gives it the design that we put on top of that tends to fade into the background, like it's behind the one that you put the mask on. So it's kind of hard to, it's easier for me to show it to you rather than explain it in words. But to me, it makes sense. I don't know. I hope that made sense to you. All right. So here is the card that we're making. I think it's time for a celebration. And then that's what I did with the card. Berry Burst is the color I used, lemon lime twist, and Misty Moonlight. So those are the colors that I used. And of course, then I used the designer series paper as well. So you'll see those again in just a minute. And I'm going to just keep this right here so that you can see that. All right, and move that out of my way. All right, so let's talk about the materials that we used in our card. Of course, we have our average size envelope. Inside our envelope, I always put all my pieces. Okay, we will be doing some stamping on that envelope in a couple of minutes. I did go ahead and stamp my balloons for you, so we wouldn't have to be doing that. You notice there's a nice design on all the balloons. These two are the same one, just different colors. Okay, so that's done in Berry Burst, Lemon Lime Twist, and Misty Moonlight. Misty Moonlight. Sorry. I have some pieces of baker's twine. Now this is, white baker's twine, and I'm going to color that. And each of these is approximately 3 inches. You'll need that for the strings for the balloon. Here's the designer series paper, which is 2 inches by 5 inches. This is the Bright and Beautiful 6 by 6. This is the Lemon Lime Twist. This layer is 3 3/4 by 5. And then I used the dots and spots die on it to make it look like a piece of Swiss cheese, or similar anyway. I went ahead and I stamped and fussy cut out the sentiment that we're using. This is a piece of just basic white, and it is 4 inches by 5 1/4. This is the insert for the inside of the card. And then finally, this is your card base. I'm going to have it in a tent format. Excuse me, this is Berry Burst. It is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. All right, so let's go ahead and do those tiny little bits of stamping that we need to do so that we can get to the point where we are doing our actual, here we go, now we do it this way. That would make sense, and that way you can see it. Okay. Okay. We're going to use this tiny little stamp, which is a little confetti stamp, and we're going to use 3 different colors on it. And we're just going to kind of randomly, stamp a couple of times. And then I have my trusty little chamois over here. So I'm making sure that I put that on the right side, correct side. All right. So that was the Berry Burst. Lemon Lime Twist. Sorry, allergies are really bad again. Okay. That's one of the lighter ones. Okay. And then the Misty Moonlight. Now you see, I could see that I hadn't inked that up all the way, so I had to come back and ink it again. And there we go. There's a little cluster of the, I like the photopolymer stamps because of that, because I can see when I don't get things totally inked up, or when I get too much ink on something and then I don't want to smear or smudge on my paper. All right, so that was Misty Moonlight. All right, so those 2 things are done. So we're all ready to go with that. That goes on the inside of our card in a couple of minutes here. But let's see, I'm trying to think of what else we need to do. Let's go ahead and do something that needs to dry just a tiny little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to color the string that I put over here. Hopefully I didn't lose it. All right, using the Stampin' Blends. Excuse me. Let me get a drink of water here. All right, hopefully that will help. All right, Berry Burst, and this is the dark one, dark Berry Burst. And I'm just going to take, and I'm just going to put I put this down on the actual string, this flat end of the cap, to hold it down for me, while I take the edge of the marker and just color it. And I do have to do a little bit of turning it over a little bit, trying to get, because it doesn't soak all the way through. I remember we had a ribbon in the last catalog that was really good, and it would just, the color would just saturate and soak right straight through. This one you have to kind of work with it a little bit and turn it and make sure you got it. There we go. All right, so there's the berry burst using the side of the brush tip part. Here is the lemon lime twist. I hope you can see what I'm doing. All right. Again, this one's lighter. Okay. All right, that's pretty good. All right, now the ribbon or the twine's going to be a little bit stiff. So what you're going to end up seeing is I'm going to show you a little technique or a trick to use that'll make it not be quite so stiff. All right, here's the Misty Moonlight. Okay. And you notice I have a piece of scrap paper underneath of this so that it catches the extra ink that I'm not going to get on it. Okay. All right, let's see about this. Any other places? Okay. All right, that looks pretty good. Okay. All right, now I'm going to let that dry just a little bit. It should be fine. You could probably go ahead and use it now or not in a couple of minutes to do that. All right, so I'm just going to set this aside over here. I'm going to need my silicone mat so that I can do my inside insert of my card. Remember, that's 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. That's berry burst. This is 4 1/4 by 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, and I use my Stampin' Seal when I put down my insert. Turning it sideways so that I can make sure that I'm looking at all the edges and getting that as even as I can. Okay. Okay, so there's the inside of our card. Now let's assemble the top part of our card. All right, take the lemon lime twist. We're going to need to add this to the designer series paper to this. Excuse me. What works very well for me is the green glue, and I just put a little. My green glue is getting down to the last drop, so I try to use as much of it as I can. But you see, I put a little tiny bead of glue all the way around that. Sorry, you couldn't see because I was holding that close to me. So now I'm going to push this over just to the side just a second so you can see. Again, sideways, I'm going to leave about 1/4 inch because this is 2 by 5. It should fit our 3 3 3/4 by 5, which is what the lemon lime twist is. Okay. Now you don't need to worry about the fact that there might be a little bit of glue on the mat, the silicone mat. That's what it's for, to keep your work surface from being sticky. All right, so yes, there is a little bit there, so I'm not going to worry about that. Let it dry a little bit. All right, now, so I'm going to set that aside just a second. Let's assemble our balloons. So I'm going to flip these over. Okay, try to avoid the glue. And I'm going to use to secure the these pieces. And all right, I just thought I lost it. I'm going to use a glue dot, but in just what I'm going to show you with the dryer sheet. Now this is not as old a dryer sheet. You can use one that's already been through the dryer and been used. But this is kind of stiff. And so I want it to be a little bit more flexible, more ribbon-like, more twine-like, or string-like. So I'm going to take this, and this is going to soften up the fibers in that ribbon. And you might see some of the color come off, but not much of it. Okay, so you're going to kind of just do that to make it a little bit more flexible, a little bit more pliable, so that you can use that a little bit more easily. So do that with all three of the pieces of twine that you have colored with the Stampin' Blends. And remember, the Stampin' Blends are the alcohol blends. And that is the basic white twine that we used. I'm going to use my glue dots, and I'm going to put a glue dot at the base of each of the balloons. And then I'm going to attach the strings to that glue dot. And we should have no problem pulling that, getting that secured. Now, if I've made my string long enough, and I may not have on this one, if I've made my string long enough, I should be able to tie it in a little knot. But I'm not sure that I made it long enough this time. You can make this slightly longer and cut that off. But of course I want to coordinate the string with the correct color balloon. So I'm going to put that there. And I believe, oops, okay, yeah. Check your balloon, make sure you got the right color. All right. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab my dimensionals, because I'm going to need 2 dimensionals for each balloon, one at the top of each balloon, and one covering up the glue dot and the string. And that really makes it secure and makes sure that that string's not gonna pull out, it's not gonna go anywhere. All right, so you've got a glue dot with a dimensional on top of it. That's pretty secure. It's not going to go anywhere. All right, and I am going to put those aside for just a second. And we're going to go ahead and adhere this piece here to our card base. Now, what I did with this was I decided that probably because it has so many holes in it, I could follow along as best I could, kind of in between the holes, or just dot it between the holes if I wanted to. But right now I'm just going to kind of zigzag it around the holes. And this is going to be the best that you can have for the best adhesive that you need, because you want to make sure this sticks, because it is not a solid piece of cardstock. It's a piece with some holes and texture in it. I'm going to take that and then adhere it to the card base, making sure, whoa, I almost put it on the back. Be careful. Always check to make sure that you've got it going in the right direction. All right, and then center this as best you can. It may or may not be exactly even, but do the best you can do for that. I like the textured piece of this card. I like the fact that the berry burst shines through that. It makes it look like it is literally polka dot. And visually it is polka dot. All right, so the next thing that we need to do is add our big balloon first. All right, so let's take off our backing. So you can use your fingernail. I always press down on the backing to release it a little bit, and then pull it off the back, or you can take your pick tool Either way works. All right, and I'm going to swipe these kind of going up at an angle here. All right, there we go with that one. My blue one is going to go over here at an angle a little bit maybe. All right, making sure that I leave some space at the bottom. I do have this. I may or may not be able to get this to tie on board here. And then I'm going to slip this one underneath. And it's okay. Let's see. I think I might just pull that one up just a little bit. There you go. All right. So these are the pieces. I really would like to be able to tie it right there, but I'm not sure I can do that. So what I think I'll do is I will secure it with a glue dot. I love using my Take Your Pick tool to secure this thing. All right, here's the glue dot. I'm going to secure it like that. And they do look like they come together there. I will take my ribbon scissors, which are retired, unfortunately, but I have kept them around, and I'm going to cut some of this string off a little bit here. There we go. Okay, there's my trash. Get it out of the way so you're not looking at it. There we go. And then I'm going to take my sentiment, which is right here, using the dimensionals again. I'm going to use 3 of them, and that will really hold everything down. Now, using the dies, which is what I did with this, I really do like our new Stampin' Cut and Emboss. It has made a world of difference. Cutting is ever so much easier these days than it used to be. And so here we go. Let's put this up here. This will cover the base of the balloon. Let's see, I'm going to just gently put that down and look and see if that's where I want it. I think it is. I do want it slightly over a little bit, so that's good. It's not centered necessarily, but there it is. Now, you could add more embellishment to that if you wanted to. I thought the holes in the paper was pretty much enough embellishment there. So there it is. It's a time for celebration. And you could do, that one could be a birthday card. It could be a happy graduation card. It could be any number of different things. So this particular stamp set is very useful in that way. You can use it for birthdays. And in a couple of seconds here, I'm going to show you some other cards that I made using the same stamp set. And I think you'll find that it is pretty easily a card that, or a set that you could use for practically any kind of celebration. All right, so this is the next card that I have for you. I did this with the envelope using a piece of designer series paper. And then I stamped the balloons on the background using the designer series paper on the bottom, using the twine here to help a little bit with kind of decorating a little, and wishing you everything wonderful. Again, that could be birthday, that could be anniversary, that could be any number of different types of celebration or circumstances. And then the last one that I did, sorry, was using, and I wanted to use some of the elements that were in the die set so that you could see what that looked like. This card, I decided to do like this, and I used remember I told you this could be fringed, and it is fringed, so that you can see the different colors there on that piece. That's fringed, because I cut off that little piece on the bottom. And it's a birthday, obviously a birthday card. So there you go. I thought you'd enjoy seeing that. And the here is the envelope. I did pretty much the same kind of thing with this envelope that I did with the other one. So that's what I have to share with you this evening. I hope you enjoyed that. That is the Bright and Beautiful Suite on pages 14 and 15 of the annual catalog. The Bright and Beautiful stamp set, the Beautiful Balloons stamp set, the Beautiful Balloons die set, the Dots and Spots die, standalone die, and then the Bright and Beautiful Designer Series paper, that's 6x6. I did not use any of the acrylic paper, but that's okay. So there you go. Most of the things that are in that suite I did use so that you can see see those items demonstrated. All right. So I would like to wish you a happy 4th of July. Since our next Tuesday is the 4th of July, we will not be having a Facebook Live that night. But I wanted to make sure that you are aware of that. I will be back, I hope, on the 11th. I have a really cool idea for a series of cards, and I hope you'll enjoy that. I think I'm going to use the Earthen Textures stamp set and die set and designer series paper. All right, so take care of yourselves. Have a good week. Thank you for joining me. If you would like to duplicate this card or and purchase any of these products, please make sure that you go to my website. The address is right here, and you'll see it on your screen if you're watching this on YouTube. If this will be put up on YouTube within the next few days so that you can go and look at it. I will put in the comments the all the materials and so forth that I used for the card so that you will be able to duplicate it or make something similar anyway with perhaps the things that you have on hand. But I would appreciate an order or two if you would like to do that. And if you need a catalog, please don't hesitate to contact me. I have several, and I'd be delighted if you would just message me on Messenger. I will be, and with your address, I'll be glad to send that to you as soon as possible. Thank you, and have a good week, and I'll see you back on July 11th. Take care.